emergency live stream, if you want to call it that. So I had a previous live stream. I had no need to do another live stream, but I want to talk about this. I just want to say that after I concluded my previous stream, I found out there were ants and eggs everywhere in my room. I'm just saying, I don't want to show you it. Well, it's kind of hard to see it, to be fair. Nonetheless, I'm just mentioning that. I don't even know why I'm mentioning that. Now, I found this. Now, early in the morning on YouTube, I checked Rings of Power, and obviously, I found there were certain Bollywood actor and actresses having presentations with the cast of um, Rings of Power. Now, I was like, this is interesting because one of the actors I do know of, I was watching that actor since a child. So obviously, it's pretty interesting. I don't know his name, but I did share a couple of videos on my community tab of one of him in a music video, in a song. So the actor is pretty good. I don't like much Bollywood stuff now, but let me just say that that actor was there in that event with the Rings of Power cast. Let me just say that that guy is a good guy. Now, it kind of so many people are just going to be blindsided by this. It's not fair. It's really fair. I'm sorry you can't see the full writing. So this is from the India Times. The India Times. So you can check it out if you want to. I was reading this, and oh my goodness, this is terrifying because I don't think I've ever seen this in any article before. So basically, talk about the Second Age, what the Rings of Power is going to do, and then, uh, and then they start talking about the main aspects. Okay, Payne, who created Rings of Power with Patrick, his brother, said the show explores the darkness of the current world. Oh my goodness, the cat is out of the bag. Just a couple of weeks ago, they said they're not going to dive in with political nonsense. Okay, they're not going to talk about modern day stuff. And now they say this stuff. Obviously, I never trusted them. I did know it's going to have some political stuff. I do know for a fact it might have some Orange Man stuff, you know? And it's like, come on, Tolkien literally wrote a good story. I know they did not have the perfect rights for everything, but can't you just look at Tolkien's work and that's it? Why do you have to embrace the reality of it? Not everything needs to look like reality. Not just when it comes to cast, but I'm talking about the story. Because I know for the fact they're going to try and tie it up with modern day politics. The biggest pressure was the pressure that we put on ourselves because there's such a need for what Middle Earth can bring to our world. There's a real darkness right now. No, I don't necessarily know what they're talking about. It could mean a lot of things. We are in obviously gloomy. Time has always been gloomy no matter what. It just depends on how gloomy it is. Right now our time is gloomy, yes, but everyone's time was always had a gloomy point. Um, there's a lot of people who are in a lot of political darkness, economic darkness, and social darkness. Just a lot of challenges, and Middle Earth speaks to people in their soul, the showrunner said. You know? Now, what could we mean by that? Many things, many things. If they just said it's escapism from the real world, then that's totally fine. But this is not escapism. They just said, just a lot of challenges, and Middle Earth speaks to people in their soul. What does it mean by that? Are they trying to say that it's going to be woke? Seems like it. Payne was speaking at a press conference, which also attended by the show cast members. Um, Bollywood star, I don't know how to say his name, but Roshan, I'm going to say his second name, and Tamanaha, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce these names, um, were also there in that event. I don't think they have acting roles in the show, they're just there. There's clips on it, by the way, on YouTube, if you're interested. Tolkien's books, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, became popular because he was able to strike a chord with his readers, Payne said. With the show, the writer said he had tried to retain the essence of the world that Tolkien built. Not necessarily. I mean, if you just focus on the fact that you are changing so much of timeline, not small stuff that Peter Jackson did. Peter Jackson did, change a lot of stuff, but he did it for the sake of the movie. He did it for the sake of the movie, for the time he had. What they're doing is totally different. They are completely changing so much of characters. They might use Peter Jackson's excuse of changing stuff to do stuff like this. It doesn't make sense. You have characters that aren't supposed to see each other, like aren't even in a specific time, in the same time where certain things happen, and it doesn't make sense, you know. Uh, at least when it came to Peter Jackson, with Lord of the Rings, when he substituted a Glorfindel for Arwen, Arwen was in the book, even though she didn't have a prominent role. She was in the book, in the story. They didn't take her from his previous age whatsoever. No, she was right there in the book. So they just kind of took and replaced him and stuff like that. But is it a good change? Not so. But Peter Jackson handled it well. He didn't handle it for the sake of his politics. No matter what country you come from and what background you are from, what you will find is that Tolkien goes past all of these things. And then why did you need to have so much changes in the story? If Tolkien's stories were so connective to the outer world, why do you have to change so much? We felt we needed to capture that special feeling. No, you did not. Tolkien sketched out the story, but did not do in detail. Now, that is true to some extent, because there were certain aspects where he did not flesh out certain parts of the story. But there are times where he fleshed out so much of detail, you know? And what they're referring to may be small characters or mediocre characters, possibly. There were a lot of parts where we had to very carefully excavate and also continue to connect the dots and fill in some gaps that are necessary. See, connecting, no, Tolkien already did the connections. You don't have to do the connections. You don't have to do the connections. Okay, I'll try and get my voice a bit more high pitched. Okay, he credited Peter Jackson for introducing him to Tolkien. Okay, the author has become part of his soul. That's kind of a lie, because let's be real, the dude is having so much of changes. If he truly cared, he wouldn't have made so much of changes, non-canon changes. He talks about when he watched it. Um, okay, the team has tried to present an untold story about the Second Age. It is told in a short way, but you don't have to tell the entire thing. Some stories are better left told, maybe in rumors, or maybe in character backstories. But there's no need to add so much to it. You know, we're telling the story of the forging of the Rings of Power. I've heard that in season 1, no rings will be forged. Uh, no rings will be seen as well. So yeah, I know it's a setup to the story, but holy crap. Okay, there's no rings. The fall of Numenor and the last alliance between elves and men. Payne said they underwent rigorous addition process to find 22 needles and 22 A-stacks. How? How did he do that? Because it's okay. We had 2 criteria for our cast. 1, they had to be amazing performers, but 2, they had to have Middle Earth in them. That doesn't make sense, because you chose people that won't even be fitting in the story. There's a lot of things we can talk about when it comes to the show, but what about the characters? They don't look like they're supposed to be there. I'm not just talking about the brown cast. I'm talking about the fair cast as well. Some of them don't look like they're supposed to be there at all. You know, you have to look in their eyes and feel like they could have stepped. That's a lie. That's a lie. Okay, that's a lie. Okay. Basically, it says that you have to look in their eyes and feel like they could have stepped out of a magical portal and be part of Middle Earth. That's for like people that look beautiful, because elves are supposed to look beautiful, you know. Arameo, who plays Elven Lord Elrond, said he had a great time playing the character. Okay, character talk. People talk about different things, and then we have uh, Bunyadi, am I pronouncing the name right? Who plays a new role of a human village healer named Bronwyn. She's a single mother who has a rebellious teenage son. Let's be real, many teenagers are rebellious. And a forbidden romance with an elf who is tasked with watching over the Southlands of Middle Earth. Historically, our ancestors chose the wrong side. Wrong side of what? Of what? Of what? That's the thing. Wrong side of what? What are you talking about, wrong side? You know? This seems so silly. This seems like it's gonna be very political. They chose evil over good and you're trying to very hard to redeem that. Now, personally, I also have a character in my own stories who tries to redeem herself, but the reason why she redeems herself is because she is reborn and she remembers her past. So she tries to live with her past and try and make better, but it's going to be very difficult. What I love about it is that she's resilient and strong, as well as nurturing. I was going to be a doctor before I started acting, okay? So the Ealing side resonates. But she also had determination to redeem her people and liberate them from forces of evil. Liberate. Oh, they also mentioned she's an activist. The part of her resonates with me as an activist because I'm a long-time activist for my country, Iran. Women in Iran and many places in the world are at the forefront of the move towards democracy, freedom, and human rights. I just want to mention killing children is not a human right. I don't care what people say, it's not a human right. You know, you are also killing girls in the womb. Just remember that. It's not a right to kill anyone in the womb, you know? Um, just today, um, you know, okay, never mind. I don't want to show you that stuff. Anyways, forget about that. I was about to take the camera off site, but anyways, now one thing about it as well. Why isn't she talking more about Iran in her own time? Why is she trying to say, "Oh, this is just like me," you know? Democracy. What is democracy? You need to understand everyone's version of democracy is different and freedom as well. You know, some people don't like freedom. And human rights. There's a very set class of human rights, but killing someone else in the womb is not a human right. Equality is a human right, but killing someone in the womb is not. I don't know if she's referring to, baby murdering, but, you know, a lot of people these days, a lot of activists on the left, they always assume that baby murder is always part of human rights when it's not, you know? The Rings of Power also features, some other actors, which I can't say these names. I'm sorry, but it's just too much. Um, okay, it's gonna be available in English, in Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Malayalam. Am I pronouncing it right? I do know some Tamil, by the way. I do know some Tamil, but I forgot about it. Okay, what have we learned from this? What have we learned from this? We learned that the Rings of Power, people are finally coming out of the bike and saying, hey, you know what? This is going to be political. We knew about this. I knew about this. And in the past, they tried and fend it off and say it's evil. And no, 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 no. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They mentioned about politics. They mentioned about wrong side. What wrong side? This character, this activist is playing this made-up character. What wrong side did your family choose? What wrong side are you talking about? What wrong side? That's obviously subjective, I'm assuming. I don't think the story talks about wrong side or right side or whatever. Um, I'm just saying how crazy it is. So there was an Asian Pacific premiere. Crazy. It seems that it seems that they're trying hard to get the other people aboard, not just the West. I feel like they completely forgetting about the West because they know the West is calling catching up. Not even Indians are interested in this, by the way. Just a couple of people. Maybe a couple of people will watch it because two actors, well, actor and actresses from Bollywood have been with the cast. So maybe they will watch it because of those actors and actresses accepting it. But At the end of the day, it doesn't mean it's going to be a good show. You can't write off criticism as racism. You can't say these crazy things and belittle the fans, you know? You can't dangle nostalgia to these people. It's sad to see how this is it. This is it. They literally mentioned it. They literally mentioned the wokeness. Oh my goodness. They mentioned it, you know? And there are people out there still thinking, oh, it's gonna be okay. Okay, just accept it. But I can see the writing on the wall. Why should I accept it? If I can see a clear-cut writing, you know, achromatic wall, it's so clear, crystal clear. No, not achromatic, achromatized. I keep mixing those words. Okay, sorry. When you see an achromatized wall, you can see through it. You can see through it. You can see the writing on it as well, like hiding behind the in messages. You can see, you know, it's gonna be talking about the politics and you know for a fact, if you're someone like me, someone who is deemed the wrong side of history, because a lot of people are always obsessed about the wrong side of history, trying to be the right side. What is the right side of history, apparently, to these people? I don't know, you know? And they speaking of this, they're actually speaking of this, you know? Now, if you look at YouTube, you get to see a lot of clips, you get to see a lot of people talking about it. Rings of Power reveals it'll be better than the original. Original of what? The trilogy? The original trilogy? No, okay. If you think that, then you're crazy. I'm just saying, you know? It can never be that good. Secondly, what about CGI? CGI will always look fake to me no matter what. There are some CGI that looks pretty good, but you can tell it's computerized images. That's just my eyes, but you can't just keep winning people with glittering visuals all the time, with fake visuals all the time, and with a terrible story. Here's what's going to happen. Woke show comes out, people will watch it. The same people who bullied others for not watching it, not going to watch it, they're gonna watch it and they get to see how crap it is, but they won't blame the wokeness. They will blame something else like poor writing, but yet poor writing is part of the wokeness. They will defend the wokeness. What I'm trying to say is that it's so obnoxious when you see people like this trying to defend wokeness, And yet, wokeness is one of the major problems why many forms of media are falling apart. Even with video games, it's falling apart. Wokeness is destroying it. Why should I accept these things? Why? Why? Why should I expect these woke nonsense? And then they call us racist. It's so unfair, but this is the world we're living in. The most important part I could have to say is be wary of what they will give out in this show. It's gonna be woke. It's gonna be woke. And there'll be a lot of woke stuff sprinkled in. A lot of people are just making fun of it. Stunning and brave, they're calling it. I'm sorry about this. It was just an emergency live stream. I need to obviously get back to work. I was planning a comic book and planning up some characters. So I'm just saying I need to take a little break. Uh, so I'm sorry about this. I don't want to make a live stream every time I see a new article. That's silly. That's silly. Okay. So we see a lot of people talking about this. Kind of sad to see how, some normies across the world are just gonna accept it. It's gonna be trash. They're literally telling, hey, it's gonna be a woke show. So I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, good luck, good luck. Okay. Remember last year when He-Man. Remember that? Remember He-Man and the Masters of the lesbian universe? Because you know, I remember, I remember, man. And this was so embarrassing because to see how many people were hyped up for this, and they were like, "Oh yes, this is perfect," and then and then oh my goodness. And then people saying, "Oh, do this show next. Do that show next." You know? A lot of people were so obsessed. Oh, we should do the next show. We should do that show. You know? And then many of those people who said that are very quiet. They're not going to talk about how they feel about the show. Look at this. Let me read it. Writing with beloved franchises. Use the most beloved character in the franchise for marketing. Use that character in the spotlight at the beginning. Replace the character with discount version. The discount version is not nearly as good or completely insufferable. Or is completely insufferable. Act surprised when people don't like it. Blame those fans and accuse them of being ist and isms. Okay, if they don't like it, when you if they don't like it when you took something so beloved and ruined it because of your lack of talent, that's basically what it boils down to. That's what happens. And once again, this happened to Cowboy Bebop as well. Remember when he got canceled? People were whining about that too. Just accept. Why should we keep accepting woke stuff? There's a difference between trying something and accepting it over and over. You're gonna make the same. They're gonna do the same nonsense. You're gonna make the same mistakes. You're gonna see the same nonsense. What else can we say? We've seen this 100 billion times. You know People keep saying, "Oh, it's not going to happen like this." It is going to happen like this. You know, every show that's going to come up now, a new version of XYZ or whatever show or whatever video game, it has to always match these idiots all the time. Look, not everything needs to be about politics. Can we get that clear? Not everything needs to be about politics. Oh my goodness, I'm live. I'm just saying, if you want to have a couple of political things, that's fine, but not everything needs to be political. Tolkien's work is not a allegory about the real world and Orange Man America. No, no, it has nothing to do with that. Okay, why is it so hard for people to understand? You know, like, can we stop with this? Can we stop with this altogether? You know, I used to be so excited for so many things. I don't feel excited anymore. I don't even feel excited for Monster Hunter 6, even though I have to get an Xbox just in case it's good. Because I remember back in the day when I wanted World, I never had the game, but I had the Xbox. And then when I wanted Rise, I had the game, but I never had the Switch. So I want to be on time. But what if the game is terrible? That's the problem. I can't wait forever. I might as well buy the Xbox regardless. But still, I feel for a Monster Hunter game when I'm not supposed to at all. The fact that things are getting so borderline woke, it's terrible. And people keep telling us we are the bad guys for calling it out. Just wait an episode. But oh no, an episode won't be enough. You gotta wait for the full season. The full season won't be enough because it tackles terrible things. And then we'll be told to wait for the second season to judge everything. These people will keep moving the goalpost. They won't want us to criticize it. It's so obnoxious. Anyways, I used the word obnoxious so many times. I'm sorry for the swift, random live stream. It's just that we knew about this a couple months ago, and then people were saying, "Oh no, it's not going to be woke." Like the showrunners came out and said, "Oh, it's not going to be a modern tale on politics." What are they literally saying right now? What are they literally saying? Oh my goodness, is this all they care about right now? Really? It's terrifying. It's terrifying. We aren't allowed to criticize it. Anyways, I'm sorry about this. I don't like talking too much about this type of stuff because I want to talk about fun stuff. I always like to talk about fun stuff, or trans stuff. I don't like talking about woke stuff. too much because it always rots the brain. And you know, it's sad. It really is sad to see what's to come of this series. You know. Anyways, tell me your thoughts. Have a good Friday.